Fine Print presents in association with the Foundation Promo League.
This year's draft will truly change the game.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to that damn fine print. I'm with Lamar, Mr. Wallace, Hollywood Haywood, and Drew Coleman. Tonight, we're going to spill, I guess, as much tea as I can about what's going on with this draft. So, how we guys doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good.
Think we're doing good. I don't know if I'm going to be drinking the tea, but maybe the Pepsi Cola.
So, well, I want to know, like everybody else wants to know. So, what's going on with this whole draft? A lot of people think their promo careers up in the air. A lot of people are afraid that if they're not going to get drafted. They're going to go to another place, then they go start new. A lot of people are going to think that, because we got this people that were truly Foundation faithfuls and truly WGP faithfuls. So how's that all going to, being that we're all, exclusive to the brand?
Yeah. And I'm glad that you kind of opened the show up with that, Wapo, because I want everybody to understand that this is to me, this is something groundbreaking. This is something that's going to be earth shattering. That's going to make waves in the promoverse. So I want everybody not to be afraid of the future. Don't be afraid of these changes that are coming. When it's all said and done, this is a partnership between WGP and Foundation, and not only that, it's giving everybody, not just both of these companies, like a reset and to get better for the future, but for the same promo artists that are kind of bouncing in between both promo leagues. And I know there's a lot of uncertainty on what's going to happen with my promo career. But I want everybody to know, if you're on the WGP roster, on the Foundation roster, I want you to know without a shadow of doubt within my being, you are going to be handled with the greatest of care, because the people behind WGP, the people behind Foundation, they want the utmost best and success in this promo game. So trust me, your promo career won't be in shambles. It won't be cast to the side. It won't be thrown in the garbage.
No.
We trying to elevate some shit around.
If anything, you're going to be elevated.
Yes.
If anything, you're going to have less work, which means you should be able to focus. And I don't mean less work as in you won't get booked as much. I mean, well, in a way you won't, because you won't, like, the big problem we've had now is, I'll just use me and Lamar as an example. Me and Lamar face each other in the Foundation. 2 weeks later, we're facing each other in WGP. A week later, we're facing each other in Foundation again. And that kind of gets old.
Stale. Yep.
And not only that, you have a match in WGP this week and you got a match in the Foundation this week. You can't give 120% to both matches. I don't care who you are. I'm guilty of it. You give me a match in 3 or 4 places in 1 week, something is going to suffer. And with this, you're going to have guys that might want to. I will say this: Lamar and I have been very good about giving everybody opportunities at championships. But with this split, I think you might see some of these guys that would have had a harder time winning a championship have a much easier path to a championship. And then not only that, the story should get better, because instead of us each focusing on, and I'll just throw the number out there right now, 40 guys, because that's what our rosters pretty much had, 40 guys and gals, okay? We can now focus on 20 in one league and say, okay, this is your story, or tell me the story you want to do. And we can make it, we can put so much more time into it. and give it so much more time because I don't have to try to book everybody on the roster in 1 month because I go from 40 to 20. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's to me, not only that, and there's going to be other places that's going to do a draft and whatnot, and we understand it. We've been having this in the works for months.
I'd say at least 3 months.
Yeah.
At least a lot of the character direction that I took personally in the stories were to set this up.
Yeah, but believe it or not, we've been dropping some nuggets for the last few months.
Right. Like I had to totally change some things that I actually wanted to do, personally, so that we could set the groundwork for this. And I know that in the short term, it might have has affected a few people that needed shots or had earned shots, but I promise you, in the long run, that Lamar and I did a lot of thinking, and Dan's not here right now, and Drew. We did a lot of thinking about this. And if we didn't really think this was going to benefit everybody and ignite the promoverse, spark it, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Well, but speaking of that too, we also have, and I know, like I said, BWO is not partaking in the draft, but they are part of it in a way because
They're a huge
they have
part.
this promoverse. This promoverse coming out too, and the promoverse is it going to entail just strictly with Foundation, or is it going to be also with WGP? How's that going to work? Like, what is the promoverse supposed to?
The promoverse event is supposed to happen after our draft, and I believe this makes it way easier to have WGP represented and the Foundation because we have specific rosters now after this draft. Where before, you might have had somebody like Vagabond competing for all 3 brands.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So,
I
personally would have loved to have had the BWO involved in the draft, but I don't think they were quite ready to do that yet. You know what I mean? That's just my personal take. But they are so well represented in both WGP and the Foundation. I mean, that I feel like they are a major part of this draft, and the Promoverse event is going to be off the hook.
Yeah, that's going to be something spectacular.
And now it'll really feel like it is the Foundation and not just some of WGP's guys playing for the Foundation and vice versa.
Yeah, like I said, like you were saying, you guys, there's going to be more exposure. I know you have this. Sometimes we have this blueprint special where we have this. I'll use the Black Plagues for instance. He performs every 4 months, and maybe you get to see somebody like that, or a Hector for Florida.
Oh yeah, Hector. A lot of these guys are going to get a lot more airtime now,
right?
And not only that, we're going to get to work with them,
right?
More. When I first started doing this, I had enough time to work with 40 people by myself and come up with all this stuff. But I just, life changes. I know it has changed for Lamar. It's changed for me. It takes a village.
Oh yeah.
But now with these 20. We're going to start, I think, with about 20 apiece, right, Lamar? About 20 apiece.
Yeah, well,
champions.
It'll start with 20, but me and Haywood got a great feeling that how this is going to play out. We both got a good feeling. It's going to bring some people out that's going to want to get involved in promoing, just because, to me personally, I'll put Foundation and WGP as some of the top promo feds out there right now, and I'll stand on that hill and I'll die on that hill. And this is going to be something that I think is going to grab a lot of attention. And what's great about it is we're represented by 2 great commissioners on both sides.
Yes.
Drew.
Now, unfortunately, one of them going to be here today, and I might have to fine him about $10,000. Well,
Well, I'll tell you what, Drew. I'll tell you what. Like I was telling Mr. Hollywood Haywood that Drew Coleman might be one of the most consistent GMs I've ever seen. I mean, he's been a Foundation GM for what, 3 years?
Longest tenured GM.
I have not seen. I mean, and he still has a job. Speaking of that, they're not going to be part of the draft, are they? Like, is any? Are we looking at any like
people when I bought
announcers
and immediately fired Don Krypton? I announced Hunter Matthews was coming back because he was a great GM. and he and Drew Coleman were going to be the two GMs. And I don't know if everybody knows this yet. I'm going to give this away, Lamar, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
A lot of people have asked me who's going to get the first pick in this draft. Well, I'm going to tell you how we're going to find out. On the fine print preview show for Starting Point, Hunter Matthews and Drew Coleman make their in-promo return.
Wow, I didn't even know. You know what? That's awesome.
The winning GM will get the first pick for their brand.
Wow. I didn't even know about that. And I'm hosting the damn thing, but it's okay. It's a great surprise. It's a great surprise, and that's awesome. I like hosting big matches like that.
And keep in mind, Mr. Coleman has a pretty good record.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he does.
He does. Pretty good record.
He does.
I mean, yeah, he kicked the big LT out of here.
I did.
Speaking of that, so now, like you said, everybody's getting a time, everybody's a chance. If anybody doesn't agree, let's say, because you're not going to have people that are not going to agree with where they want to go. You're going to always have those people that are going to be like, hey, no, I like Foundation. I trust them with my career. What's going to happen if you hit that bump or that road?
You mind if I take this one, Lamar, for a minute?
No, go ahead.
If you trust the Foundation, you should trust WGP. I'm gonna peel back the curtain for a little bit.
I agree with that
100%. Lamar, who's your right hand man in real life?
Man, no. Whether Hollywood wants to peel the curtain all the way back or not, when I opened the show and said you're in good hands, whether you're at WGP or with Foundation, and this is a partnership. Like, read between the lines, folks. This is a partnership where we're
working together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, this isn't just something that is just thrown together. Just poof. Oh, we're doing a drive, and this is a lot of thought process. And when I'm saying thought process, I'm talking about we're looking at this literally with three different sets of eyes. We're looking at this at every angle, at every situation. We've literally asked questions on every last detail from beginning to end on this whole situation. So look, if you want to be strictly Foundation or strictly WGP, we can work something out. But in the end of the day, trust both parties behind WGP and Foundation. We want the best for every last man or woman that is literally taking their time out of their lives to entertain.
I think you can look at the back of my wall and know that I'm all about trading too. So if there's really a problem, we can make a trade.
Hey, speaking about trades, that opened up a question that I was actually going to ask next. Now, trading. Are you guys going to do trading on a scheduled kind of thing? Like, say, maybe once every 6 months, a year, or whatever? Are you guys going to actually do it before the next Starting Point? Or do you have you're not planning to do make it a spectacle? Just make it like a.
I don't think we're ready to answer that at this point.
Okay. I'm hitting some.
Lamar, unless you beg to differ.
Well, my thing is I've always feel and just the partnership that we have between both promo feds. If there's something that's really like you're really set on stone, look, we're not gonna hold nobody hostage. At the end of the day, no. We want what's best for you guys as the promo artists, because you are the content, you are the product. And if you feel comfortable with somewhere, by all means, we'll move mountains, and we'll do what we can to make sure that you as a promo artist are taken care of, man, because this is as of right now, this is volunteer work. As of right now, this is volunteer.
Nobody's under contract, but I can tell you that if us doing this, I think is going to help way more than it's going to hurt if people just have an open mind. And I will tell you, the responses in the locker room have been positive. I have not really heard people be like, oh, I don't want to do that. I think people are really excited about this, and it's infectious. That's what Lamar said earlier. I think this is going to help us even increase our participation even more.
Yep.
I mean, so.
Now I got another question to tell you guys. So now that we got these exclusive brands, WGP and Foundation. Is that in the works of creating an actual new super show, WGP versus Foundation, maybe one day down the line? Or maybe you can't answer that.
No. I think that's something that we are able to at least surface level answer, because it will bring a opportunity to be competitive. As much as it's a partnership to put this together, at the same time, it's still an opportunity for brand supremacy.
I know one of the things we're working on, if you don't mind me spilling these beans, Lamar.
Yeah.
It is a rating system for the weekly shows and the super shows. And something we've talked about, but it's not in stone. So I don't want anybody to take it as a stone. When we decide to redraft, if we decide to ever redraft, the group, the Foundation or the WGP, whichever one had the highest ratings for that season, getting some kind of advantage in the next draft, whether it be a keeper or automatic first pick or something like that. We're still working out the particulars on that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a good way to rate everything and make it fair, but we are working on that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you care so much about making your show better than, like, say Lamar's on WGP and he's like, oh, I got to make the show so much better than the Foundations because we'll get to keep our first pick next year or something like that. You know, it's to me, it makes you take more pride in your work.
Yeah.
Now, if I get drafted to WGP, does that mean I lose my contract with doing the fine print pre-shows?
To me, I was hoping that the fine print would be in partnership. I noticed it during the opening. It said in partnership with the Foundation. I'm hoping in the future it's in partnership with, I mean, I do own both. Wink, wink. With WGP and the Foundation.
Well, I don't know if I can compete with Mr. Wallace over there. He's a talk of WGP.
Yeah, but you're a talk show, bro.
No. I'm just a voice.
Voice. There you go, the voice.
Ringside action. You, sir, happen to have a talk show, and you know, if I can just nudge you a little bit to expand your talk show to make sure that both entities are represented.
Because some content after this draft is going to be worthy of being posted on both pages,
right?
Yes.
Because I mean, there's a lot of look. We're going to honor this draft, but there's still going to be a lot of crossover potential if you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, always. And like I said, I think it's a great idea. I've been we had conversations a couple years about it, and like you said, back that we just had one show, so it was hard to do. Like we tried.
Well, I swore I'd never do this.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
When you find a good partner,
right? No,
like
right.
WGP, then you can do it.
Right.
It just made no sense to do it by myself.
Right. And like I said, and like Mr. Wallace said, both being in partnership, everybody did go for both areas, work for both, promotions. And I think, if you are in doubt, or if you, in your mind don't want to, expand, I think they should, because like I said, it's the same. Basically, it's like the Foundation's like doing WGP. WGP's like in the Foundation.
But the only difference I really see is the way the show's presented.
Exactly. That's the only difference.
And ours is done a different way. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, Lamar and I, we've had our battles on screen, but you can trust and believe that we're about as tight as they come behind the scenes. I mean, really and truthfully. I mean, look at him. He's not saying much now, so I'm a little worried. A little worried.
But not only that, it's I mean, all four of us on the screen right now, I can say without a shadow of a doubt it's people in here that care about what we do. We know it's volunteer. We know, we get that. But the people that you see on the screen right now, man, they care about what we do, put effort into it, and trust. The same care and effort is put into this draft. We want every last person on both rosters to get elevated to another level. And that's why I emphasize right now, this is volunteer work, because we, and me and Haywood have had deep conversations about this. I'm hoping there's a day that we get, compensated financially from this. And I think that we're on the right path to get to that by starting at a starting point, no pun intended, with this.
I mean, if you could take a pillow and slap around each other the pillow in the ring and get paid for it, I'm sure there's room for us to make some.
Well,
money
now we don't look as
sometime.
good as the ones slapping each other around with pillows. I will tell you that.
I mean, I'm just saying. But and with that being said, now Mr. Drew Coleman, I know you've been a little quiet there. I want to ask you a question. Who would you like to see on the found? Who? And I'm talking about as a fan point, not as a person in charge, but as a fan, and being a fan of the foundation. Who would you like to see stay with the foundation?
I would say probably Bobby Miller, or I like Jay Briggy. Kind of like them both, and I like Vagabonder and Sness. Those are probably my favorite ones.
Awesome. How about you, Mr. Wallace? Who would you like to see actually be, or who would you like to see that you haven't seen compete in WGP yet, actually be a WGP?
Man, I'm looking right at him. I'm looking at you, Wapo.
I don't know. I told Drew he's got to go out to Wapo pretty early.
I would absolutely love to see Wapo in WGP being part of WGP. We got the wild ghetto Puerto Ricans over there. WGP, that's what they stand for. I would love to see Wapo become like the Solo Sokoa of the WGP and be over there and just wreak havoc. Because we've had
what a great comparison to Solo Sokoa.
Hey, he
loses by one all the time.
I knew that was coming for it. Ever since he lost, hey, you know what? That's a really good story because ever since he beat John Cena, he hasn't been the same. He lost like 37 times in a row. So I feel like ever since
not counting house shows.
Yeah.
28. I think it was 29. Counting house shows.
But I mean, like I said, I'd love to be honest with you, and I'm gonna pull the curtain back to. I've been trying to get on WGP for like 6 months, 7 months, but every time I did, something happened, and then I was trying to come back again, and something happened. So I was like, man, and I was gonna make my debut again, and then guess what? This draft happened.
Well, maybe this draft
I was like,
get there.
But anyways, I appreciate that, and I'm like I said, no matter what brand I go to, I'm gonna give it 110%, like I always do, and I'm excited. I'm one of the people that are excited to see how this goes.
If I could, I want to touch on a few things that some questions that have been asked to me personally that have to do with a couple of the championships. When we draft, the champions will stay on the brands they're on. So, but there's going to be some coolness with it. So everybody's going to be drafted singly. No one's getting drafted as a tag team or a faction or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter what roster you're on. Say me and Lamar want to be a team and I'm on the foundation roster. He's on the WGP roster. We can form a team and compete in the tag team division, which will be featured on both
shows. Yep.
So that's where you're going to get a little bit of crossover with tag teams, which I'm really hoping will revitalize the tag team division. That's why we're unifying the tag team championships at starting point.
Yep.
The other coolness, and Lamar really nailed it on the head when we were talking the other day. The FTW championship probably has more history in WGP and the foundation than anywhere else. I mean, Lamar and I would not be doing what we're doing right now if it wasn't for that FTW championship, I'm pretty sure. So we decided that title will float.
Awesome.
That championship will be defended on both brands.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the championship is lost, whatever brand the person was drafted to that is that champion will go back to their brand. But that championship will be defended on both brands in 6-minute promo battles. The history of that championship to me, I think it holds a special place, not only in my heart, Lamar's, quite a few other people's.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, you're looking at 3 people that participated in FTW, and Drew Coleman participated in FTW. He has history there. Obviously, Hollywood Haywood was part of the, a father that birthed
Drew,
it.
Drew Coleman was my second round opponent in the tournament, and I used "I'm a Loser Baby" by Beck for my background music.
So
Convenient for a lovable loser.
He was the lovable loser.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at three, dare I say, pillars of FTW right now on the screen, and FTW holds a very special part in its promo history, and is part of something that a piece of promo history that shouldn't be forgotten. It should be celebrated, and that's why we're going to celebrate with the opportunity for both brands to compete for it. Because if you look at both rosters right now, up and down it, there's FTW history sprinkled all throughout both rosters on both feds. So,
As a matter of fact, it was crazy. McFly just became the first non-FTW original,
first non-FTW champion. Yeah,
to hold the belt.
So it means a great deal to all three of us to make sure that history of FTW will continue to flourish, and because of this draft, I think it'll be revitalized. Not the company, but the championship will be revitalized and elevated to the importance of Foundation Heavyweight Championship and a WGP Heavyweight Championship. So, and plus, it's still one of the baddest ass belts out there in the game. Like,
it will cut you, but
it will cut you.
It'll cut you.
Hey, I wouldn't mind having that problem, but now the way you're gonna present this title, is it gonna be like? Are you gonna have like a kind of like a division, or is it just like randomly you face this person, you face that person, or is it? I mean, how's that gonna work? How does one get a shot at the FTW title?
Well, it's still not in concrete. It's in pencil, written in pencil. But what we brainstormed so far is kind of similar to King of the Ring, where we'll have certain individuals, a certain amount of individuals on WGP. For example, say we have 4 individuals do a tournament real quick on WGP, and 4 individuals on Foundation do a tournament. The winners of that tournament come together as a final, be number 1 contender, take on the FTW champion. That's been kind of thrown out there, and something like that'll always be discussed between both brands, how we want to come up with the number 1 contender. Like I said, nothing's written in stone yet. This has kind of been some of the things we've been floating. Hell, we'll kind of play it by ear on naming a number 1 contender. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that it's a belt that can be competed for, cherished, and just be elevated just as much as a heavyweight championship.
I mean, I've cherished that belt and elevated it like a world title for 2 out of the 3 years.
Well, I mean, there is Starting Point 3, and me and McFly's on his last match, and hell, what would have been? It would have been a great match if it's for the FTW title, but.
I can confirm that he has that championship in his possession right now.
Right now, yeah.
That's good. That's good. But anyways, right now I'm going to actually do a little commercial break with showing what we have the week of the whole festivities that we have. But we'll be right back with the rest of this interesting conversation. All right, man. I'll tell you, I feel like Starting Point is really our WrestleMania. I feel like it's WrestleMania week all over again. And only the draft just shows the excitement of it.
Starting Point was always designed to be the Foundation's WrestleMania, their promo mania. So many groups do their promo manias or their big promo event right around the time of WrestleMania. But we started this. Starting Point was our first super show, and so that's always supposed to be. And I try to make it a 4 or 5 day event with everything. This year we're doing the Hall of Fame. There's 2 more. You saw that we're gonna induct Steven into the Hall of Fame, and there's 2 more inductees. That's our first Hall of Fame, and and we're going to give away our yearly awards and on one night, and then you're going to have the pre-show, and then I can't believe I let TK3 convince me to host the Hall of Fame and the award show, but here we are.
We see what he has in his hat. But I tell you, like I said, I enjoyed like every year. I enjoy those. We have those 3 or 4 days of just.
And I like that we don't do it around the same time as all the other promo groups, because it really lets us have that time to ourselves. Not that I'm selfish or anything, but like when a lot of promo groups that like there's 2 promo manias in one weekend, and it's like, how do you but so
going forward, we're gonna have which is that means now that we have more 2 separations. Now we're gonna have. Does that mean we have more super shows, or is it gonna be same, or what's going to happen? Is it gonna be?
I personally don't see a reason to break the formula we got now for the 1 super show a month and the rest are weekly shows. That's worked good for me. Now I know WGP changes their super show day from their regular show day. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. Everything we do is on Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah. As far as what's been discussed, there probably won't be too much changes when it comes to the super shows, as in 1 super show or we call it PPEs, Premier Promo Events a month. Weekly, we'll still do Wild Out Wednesday or weekly episodes, but one thing that I do know for sure, there will be some crossover promotional shows where say a type of Survivor Series super show, and give us a chance to take the competition and put it on screen between WGP and Foundation. As much as it's a partnership, like I said, it's still a battle of brands.
Because I want Drew Coleman and Hunter Matthews to kill each other in the ratings.
What if we secretly formed a tag team and we go for the tag team title? See,
that can happen too.
Well, I don't know, because I didn't even know they were fighting on my show, so I don't know what's going on. So who knows?
They are.
That's what I'm saying. So, but I mean, like I said, there's a lot. As far as I know, you guys said a lot, about what's going to happen. I know you put a lot of people's minds at ease.
Let me ask the host a question.
Sure.
I'll ask all y'all a question, because Hollywood Haywood is full of surprises.
Right.
If you could name 1 surprise promo artist to be in this draft,
and it could be from anywhere. From
anywhere.
Even like
maybe I got time to go get them.
Man, I mean, I don't know. Like you're already surprised with the storyteller. He came back.
But he's already here.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're ready. I never thought. I don't know.
He'll be in the draft. He's in the draft.
He's in the draft.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy he's an announcer. He may be the voice of WGP, but as a competitor, he's in the draft.
Yeah.
That was my A-list.
No, the voice of WGP, Mr.
Wallace.
I'm sorry.
He's in the draft.
Competitor.
Okay. So you could be a competitor and you could be okay.
That's
right.
No,
I will always be the voice of WGP
until I fire him. I think he got the drift when I fired Krypton.
Hey, you fired Krypton? I haven't seen him anywhere.
No one's seen him.
Hey, where he's been? We got to put him on a milk carton, because is he even in the draft?
Well, he did make an appearance at this past WoW episode, and he seemed very upset.
And he did post a little something on the Foundation page.
Yeah,
I've seen that
not too long ago.
So is he going to pull a Roman Reigns and pull out, or is he going to actually be in the draft?
Is
that a surprise?
He's a little mad at me right now, but I'm gonna try to convince him to, he
thinks I'm the devil.
Put his feelings aside and be part of this draft, because I think it'll be something great for everybody. So we'll see what we can do with Krypton.
I'll tell you, like I said, this draft is going to be it's going to be such a like I've seen.
Imagine if Drew Coleman comes out and says, "With the first pick, I take Iron Bison."
Iron Bison, wow! I haven't heard.
No way.
His name.
I'm just saying, imagine if he did. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I don't know.
Oh,
But the way you said you got surprises, you got people coming
what
back.
about Hezekiah?
Ooh, that would be a good one.
I think
Hez is
really good
one of
one.
my all-time faves. I'm just going to tell you that.
Bringing in a Hezekiah Littlejohn would be that would definitely be an earth shattering.
I would.
Oh,
Imagine,
yeah.
I
imagine if
draft him.
True
I would
Coleman
draft him
comes
really
out
high.
or Hunter Matthews comes out and says, "I'll take the BXT general manager, Mike Tuck."
Ooh.
Ooh,
So
Ooh.
also you're telling me we do have some BWO faithfuls
Well,
might be in the draft? Is
I
that what
don't
you're
know
saying?
if you've noticed, but ever since I created the BWO faction here, the BWO is kind of all over the place.
Well,
here.
I'm not talking about the B. I'm not talking about BW like I'm not talking about like Ultra Eagle Bones. I'm not talking about Trevor. I'm talking about BWO faithfuls that haven't stepped foot out here. Do we have some of them in the draft? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I can say this: the fact that you got Trevor Robinson wanting to match at starting point, that should tell you of the powers between these two groups of what can happen in this draft.
I ain't burned a bridge yet I couldn't repair. I'll just tell you.
I think everything. I mean, everything seems like it's coming to plan, and your diabolical schemes. But like I said, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see people that I haven't seen, even go anywhere. Like I said, I'm one of them. I'm wanting to go ahead and put my foot in WGP because I haven't yet. But then again, I am a Foundation faithful too. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, it might take me to get the FTW title for me to do it. Who knows? But it'll happen. But anyway, so I guess I got enough of stuff out of you guys as I'm probably going to get without you guys spilling the beans. So
Yeah, hopefully this answers some of the questions we've been getting.
I think so, and I think a lot of people is going to be more at ease with what you guys had to say.
Well, you say that, but like I said, unless I'm not hearing it, I just haven't heard a lot of anything but positive about it, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, I'm sure there's more positive than negatives, but there's people out there probably like, oh, what's going to happen, and regardless, you answered the right questions that need to be answered to make anybody if they have any doubts to
think about it like this:
sure.
if a teacher is teaching a kindergarten class with 40 students,
right,
and one kindergarten teacher is teaching a class of 20 students, which kids are going to get more attention?
The ones with the lesson.
The one with 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now we hope we grow back to 40 again on each brand. I'll tell you that.
I don't know.
But then we'll just hire more teachers.
Well, see, and then here's the deal about that. Now we had the draft. Now you got people, coming in here staggering after the draft. How do you guys, you guys give them the opportunity, being that they're free agents, to sign with whoever, or do you guys actually, hey,
the champions
at the table?
The champions, once they lose a championship, will pretty much the champions right now. If they after the draft, if they're still champions, and once they lose their championship, it's their right to be free agents.
Right.
And,
with the exception of that FTW champion.
Yeah, with the exception of the FTW, which
and the tag champions
the
tag champions.
So for instance, let's say Bones, for instance, he lost his championship. So he has the right to say, hey, I you know what, I'm gonna take my ball and go to WGP. Can he do that? Or does he? I mean,
he's a free agent.
Right now he's a double champion.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sky's the limit for him on what he wants to do when he loses.
Okay.
But
how about
I think Wapo was talking about new competitors.
Yeah, new people. Yeah,
and I think on a case by case basis. Yeah. And the goal is to keep the rosters balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think, and then sometimes you're just going to see somebody's a better fit for somewhere based on what's going on. I mean, that's a hard question to answer with a concrete answer because I think it's a case by case basis is what I'd say.
Yeah, which was how we already had discussed that situation where, because there's going to be some people that's going to see what we're doing, and I'm telling you, they're going to want to play. And there's going to be a situation where they'll be a free agent and they say, hey man, I want to be in Foundation, and then both parties will come to the table and say, hey, I got this guy that wants to be part of Foundation. Kind of throws the balance off of the roster just to compensate it. Let's make a fair trade. he's going to sign with me as a free agent, but you're in return WGP,
I'm gonna give you this,
or vice versa. You know,
Yeah, that's awesome.
so I think it really has to be a case by case basis. You
Yeah,
also have people that take breaks. You know that we never know when someone's going to take a break.
Right.
You know, and so we might have to occasionally do some. The goal is to both have great shows.
yes,
And we're going to do whatever it takes to both have great shows.
And I'll tell you too, with the balance of everything too, like I'm gonna throw some out like here, like let's say Saban for instance. Saban, for instance, he's very, really, really successful when it comes to WGP. But now when he's in Foundation, it's a different story. He's got a different kind of, I don't know what it is, but you know, it's a different kind of story. Now, do you think that would take any effect to somebody's mentality as well as say, let's say Saban's successful at WGP, but he gets drafted to Foundation? Do you think that'll kind of how do you think that would be with their morale and stuff?
To be honest, Wapo, because I know what you're saying. You know, hey, why am I not successful over here
Right.
and I'm successful over there? And to help with that, we have already put into talks of having unified judging criteria.
Yeah, the scorecard should be the same after we do this. We're just
So in both instances, whether you play for WGP or get traded to Foundation, the criteria will still be the same. So that it'll be unified. So you don't have to worry about how I gotta alter my promo style or my character or whatever to fit a certain promo league. It's going to be unified across the board when it comes to the judging criteria. So if you're over in WGP because it's the same judging criteria, you should be over in Foundation, and that should help alleviate that problem where, hey, why am I not being successful here when I'm successful over here? So hopefully that answers that question.
Well, you hear that promo verse? It's gonna be all around the board the same. So there you go. That's good.
I'm glad that came up actually because we had talked about that. And
Awesome. That's why you're on the fine print, because I get the nice, good questions and I get you guys thinking. Anyways, so right now we're at the point of the show, and I know Drew Coleman just been listening because I know that's the kind of GM he is. He just takes it all in. But anyways, I'm gonna give you guys a chat to say whatever you guys want to say to close it out. And I appreciated you guys coming in here and clearing everything out and answering all the questions that you could possibly answer. And we're only a few weeks away from the biggest historical event in promo history, but and it's not going to be concrete. Obviously, we're still going to be learning, and there's going to still be errors, but we're in a right way, and we're in a right track, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. It's going to be.
Sir, you're talking to God. There's not going to be any errors, sir.
All right. Well, since God, go ahead and take this. Since you already
and I've already
Yeah.
said this. I can't reiterate enough. If you are worried about this, let me just put it into focus for you one more time. You are going to get to really, really focus on one place and one feud and one story instead of worrying, well, I got this really good thing going in WGP, this really great feud with Drew Coleman. But over in Foundation, I just have this one match that's just like a throwaway match on Blueprint because they needed, to fill the card. You shouldn't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, less workload, better product.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You got anything to say, Mr. Wallace?
Hey, man, be prepared. Be prepared to make history, to change the history of this promo game of what we're doing. Hey, if you have any comments, concerns, worries, you come to us, please. Communicate with us. We will do whatever we have to do to ease your mind on how great that this is going to be for both parties involved and both rosters involved. This is groundbreaking. This is earth shattering. This is something that's going to, like I said, this is a history making moment right here. And to me, it's a starting point, no pun intended again, to something that's going to be phenomenal in so many different ways.
All right. And Mr. Consistency over here, one of the longest GMs that we ever had.
The longest reigning best GM in promo-verse history.
I will just like to say a shout out saying I am the better looking better dressed than Hunter Matthews, and he's going to go down. He's going to realize how great and how good looking I am doing
Yeah, I
it.
just want to watch y'all kill each other.
And then yes, I'm going to kill him. No.
That's hilarious.
Well, I picked the brains of one of the three most powerful guys here in the Promoverse, and I appreciate you guys taking your time and sharing your, planting the seed of this beautiful tree that we're going to endeavor. And this has been another earth-shattering, record-breaking episode of That Fine Print. And I hope to see you guys soon, and we'll see you next week.